Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Maya's Focus Activity 8 to 10 Dreams. So, my name is Terry. I'm with Maya's in Via Baracca, Firenze, and I'm from the United States, from the thriving metropolis, the huge city of Seattle in the Northwest. That's all the way in the northwest corner, almost to Canada. And it rains about 9 months out of the year. So it's rather dreary and can be kind of depressing. So sometimes I like to escape to dreams. So I see that we have some people who have joined, and what I would really like is for you to tell me your name and where you are joining me from. And you'll have to excuse me, I cannot type and text type and speak at the same time. I'm just not coordinated enough. So I should have a co-teacher, but we're having some technical difficulties and he's working on that. So he'll be joining us really soon. The problem is, and there he was, and there he went. So we have Paola from Busto. We have Daniela from Milan. Welcome. So we're just going to jump in and start talking about one of my favorite topics, dreams. So in this focus activity, Francesco from Turin, welcome. In this focus activity, we're talking about sleep and dreams. We're talking about dream vocabulary and types of dreams. Welcome, Giacomo from Milan. Interpreting dreams and describing dreams. So, sleep and dreams. I know that Christina, good evening. I know that if I don't sleep well for quite some time, that I stop dreaming. It's a really strange thing. Do any of you have that same, I don't know if I'd call it a problem, but have you had that same experience when you're stressed and you can't sleep very well? Do you stop dreaming? Hello, Valentina. Where are you joining us from? All right, so going right along. So my co-host, my co-teacher, is having technical difficulties. So he'll be joining us from the chat line while he tries to figure out how to unmute me. So Paul,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm sorry about that. Excuse me, guys. Hello.
Yes, welcome. Yay. So Paul, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so guys, apologies for the technological problems. It's not been good today. I'm Paul and I'm from Ireland. And like Terry, I work in my English school in Via Baracca in Florence. And it's a pleasure to be with you all.
All right. Thank you, Paul. So
thank you, Terry.
I was just explaining that sometimes when I'm really stressed or I have a lot to think about, that if I don't sleep well, especially after 2 or 3 nights, I stop dreaming. Have you ever experienced that?
That's interesting. Wow. Generally speaking, if I don't sleep well on one night, you see, I'm the type of person that never remembers their dreams. I don't. Oh. I just sleep. It's a shame, but I don't have a vivid memory when I sleep. I just sleep.
Interesting. We'll talk more about this sort of thing as we go on. So, Natalie from Milan, Roby, Pasquale, Valentina, Christina, tell us where you are from, please. All right. So,
welcome.
Go ahead.
No, I just said welcome. That's all.
Welcome. So, Paul, And everyone that's with us, go ahead and Paolo says, "Hey, Paul, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, it was. Paula, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Did you do anything to celebrate even in this quarantine?"
I had some Irish crisps that are called Tato. They're very, very famous. I called some family and friends back home and I listened to the presidential message that is kind of like a tradition, just saying that the world needs to be united and that we all need to stay together. And the whole world, all the famous monuments and landmarks around the world were marked in green, which is pretty nice.
That is pretty nice. That's a beautiful thing. So, are you generally, so as Paul and I ask and answer these questions, we want you to answer the questions in the chat line. So, Paul, are you a good sleeper or a bad sleeper?
50-50. I would say that generally speaking, I would probably sleep like 4 out of 7 nights. But if I'm really stressed or anxious about something, I don't sleep very well. What about Terry?
Well, I am generally a bad sleeper. I'm a bad sleeper because I am a light sleeper. I don't know, do any of you out there, do you know what that means to be a light sleeper? We have light sleepers and heavy sleepers. Paul, are you light or heavy?
Light. Any bit of noise and I wake up immediately.
Me
like
too.
a simple scratch or my neighbors, because in Italy, no offense guys, you speak so loud. I can basically I just wake up to, like, I can hear my neighbors above having a conversation and I just wake up immediately. So
Me too.
really
Me too. So all of
However,
you,
just to say, if I sleep really, really badly, generally speaking, after like 1 or 2 days, I just sleep for about 9 hours and I have a lot of energy then after that.
I can never do that. I don't sleep past 7:30 in the morning unless I'm really sick. So for me to get that much sleep, I would have to go to bed at dinner time.
Wow.
So all of you out there, thank you for coming to join us today for the lesson on dreams. And tell us, are you a good
Yeah, guys,
sleeper,
welcome.
a bad sleeper, a light sleeper, a heavy sleeper? So Paul, you said if you don't sleep well for a couple of days, then you sleep a lot the next night. How long do you usually sleep on average?
I think 7 hours max. Like, it's never I think people say that the 8 hours is recommended, but I would say 7 hours max. And if I sleep around 7 hours, then that's considered a good sleep. And you, Terry, I'd say you only sleep 3 hours.
No, I sleep about 6.5 to 7 hours.
Okay. That's,
So
I think, normal.
Robbie says it depends on the season.
Absolutely.
In winter, I dream 7 or 8 hours per night. But in summer, I dream 4 or 5 hours a night. Robbie, do you mean you sleep 7 or 8 hours? Because if you dream that many hours, you're sleeping 10 hours? That would be really nice, but... So tell us if you mean you sleep that much or if you dream that much. Paula says, I'm generally a good sleeper, but I often have nightmares. Okay, good. A little typo there. The GH got inverted, but excellent, excellent structure. Giacomo, I'm a heavy sleeper, but most of the time I don't hear anything at all, anything at night while I'm sleeping. Excellent, Giacomo. The definition of a heavy sleeper is someone who doesn't hear anything, nothing wakes them up. But remember, in English, that pronoun, that I, must always be capitalized.
Capital.
Even in that contraction, I must be capitalized.
Absolutely. Terry, my theory is this, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You know the meaning of snore? Like,
Oh yes, my
uh,
boyfriend
my
snores
theory. Oh God.
like a
Yeah.
you
Do you
snore.
think that? Sorry. Do you think that people who sleep or who snore, um, sleep better? That's my theory.
I think so because he
Yeah.
snores like a freight train all night, and I don't get any sleep, but he wakes up rested. So I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think you're right. So Daniela says it depends. When I'm stressed, I am a bad sleeper, but when I'm relaxed, I'm a very good sleeper. Excellent,
Okay.
Daniela. All
I relate
right.
to you.
Sylvia says, I'm a very light
Okay.
sleeper. Paul and I also. So, Paul, last night, did you sleep well or did you sleep badly?
I slept well. I think, generally speaking, this week I've been sleeping on average, which says for two. But I think like if I get 6, 7 sleep, I'm happy enough. And you, Terry? What about you?
Last night, I woke up two or three times, but very, very briefly. And so I slept pretty
Mm,
well. Now, Paul, you already answered number four at the beginning. When
mm.
you wake up, you don't remember your dreams ever.
You see, maybe I didn't answer that correctly. I remember generally when I wake up, it's because maybe I fall. In a dream, I think one of the things that you dream about is waking up to something happening, but I immediately don't remember the dream vividly. I just wake up and then I kind of forget the dream. Um, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does. Sylvia says, I slept well because I was exhausted.
Mm.
Perfect structure, and I hope you get some rest.
It's a nice adjective
Nat-
as well. The extreme adjective.
it's fabulous. Natalie says, I'm a good sleeper and also a heavy sleeper, but sometimes when I'm anxious, I sleep only a few hours or
Yeah.
for a few hours. Really great. I, Simona, I don't understand. I didn't find. You found us now, right?
Yeah. Welcome anyway, Simona. I mean, if you arrive late, it's not the end of the world. Thank you for joining us.
Never the end of the world. Never. All right. So let's talk a little bit about dream vocabulary. So, what are the differences between these kinds of dreams? Welcome, Simona. I'm glad you made it. Daydream, nightmare, lucid dream, recurring dream, and premonition in a dream.
Wow. I feel
So,
like we're in a premonition right now.
gosh, I hope not. All right. So, tell us what you think the definition. How would you describe these different kinds of dreams? And do you have to be asleep to have all of these different kinds of dreams? So while we
Mm.
wait for some responses, Paul, can I
Mhm.
tell you about a dream that I have had, I think, 5 times in the last month?
Go for it.
So it's really strange because in this dream, where I am and who I am with changes every time.
Okay.
But the fact is that in these dreams, I can fly and no one else can. But it's not like I'm flying like something strange.
Mm.
It's just someone needs something and I'm able to just fly up and get it, or something bad is happening and I can fly out of the situation and see it from above. I've never had this kind of dream in my life, and now in a month I've had it at least 5 times.
Do you think sometimes dreams relate to like things that have been happening to you? Like you said, you fly to people in need. Who's in need? Who needs your attention?
Well, I would say my family right now, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I can't even fly on a plane to them because,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so I see that we've got some responses.
We do.
Simona was the first to say a nightmare is a very bad dream. Sylvia said the exact same thing, so excellent. Um, a recurring dream maybe means like the Italian expression, oh, daydream, sorry, to dream with your eyes open. Exactly. A daydream is a dream that you have when you are awake. It's like,
I that's
do
it's me all
you
the time.
do you daydream, Paul?
Oh, yeah. I must confess, guys. Even when I'm teaching, like, and you can criticize me on this one. Like, I'm teaching grammar sometimes, and for some reason my brain is like imagining something else, because I get super distracted easily. So I'm kind of like daydreaming, or sometimes actually when I'm in the shower, this sounds really weird. And if I'm about to prepare a lesson, I'm actually kind of picturing it in my head, kind of one of those like, how would I prepare this? Or, how would I structure this? So, yes, I daydream a lot. Probably good and
I
bad.
daydream. I daydream on the bus because I spend so much
Oh,
time
yeah.
on the buses. So, Simona, thank you. A recurring dream is exactly what I was explaining. It's a dream that you have many times over and over. So, daydream, to dream or fantasize when you are awake. Nightmare, a very bad dream. Recurring dream is something that repeats over and over. Um, Paula says, I have a recurring dream. When I'm stressed, I dream a huge wave, a tsunami. You dream that a huge
Oof,
wave comes upon you.
very
That's
graphic.
scary.
Lovely language as well, by the way. I love your use of adjectives. I dream a huge wave. Articles are spot on, okay? Very good.
Excellent.
Well,
So
coming on to me, right, Terry?
coming coming on to me or
Coming on me.
coming upon me.
Yeah, coming upon. Yeah, the preposition. Thank you.
Okay. So interesting. Very good, Daniela. A lucid dream is when you realize that you are dreaming. Some people are so in tune, some people are so aware that they are dreaming. They are so lucid in their dream that they can begin to control their dreams. So
Wow.
have any of you ever had any of these kinds of dreams? And a premonition is a dream that forecasts what will happen. Exactly. A
Hmm.
premonition is a dream of something that will happen in the future. Excellent. Now, Sylvia says a recurring dream is normally an expression of fear or of a fear. So, my recurring dream that I'm flying, I have no fear when I fly. It's absolutely something that just, it's liberating. So, an expression of fear. Maybe I'm afraid of what's happening in this period, and I really wish I could be such a help to those I love, that this ability to fly is my mind's way of reconciling that I can't help. And so it's helping to understand that fear. Maybe so, Sylvia. What do you think, Paul?
I was just daydreaming, as in, like, even when she said about fear, like, even like, um 10 minutes ago, I just stuck my head out the window. Well, sorry, before the lesson began, not 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. And like, the sun was shining, and my head was just out the window, and I was just like, is this actually real? I'm questioning, like, are we in a dream? It feels so unusual. And I the last time I had that sentiment was when I was in Brazil, because it was so different for me. And like, I was still thinking sometimes when I was like walking through the streets, I'm like, is this real? Like, it's unfamiliar territory.
That I understand exactly what you're saying. So what I want all of you to do now is tell us, have you ever had any of these kinds of dreams? And give us perhaps an example like we've been doing,
Mm.
if it's not too personal to share,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So, Paul,
Hmm.
do you have any daydreams you can share with us?
They're just often reflective of my thoughts in the moment. Like, I'm daydreaming of when the next time I can just have a cup of tea in a cafe, like just, or I'm daydreaming of walking beyond a supermarket, like
Uh, it's
it's
a
just mad.
strange time. It's a really strange time that we're living in. I was just talking with my son before we began this lesson, and he's in America where I will say this. I love Italy and I love Italians, especially as I see the reaction during this time.
Mm,
People could be there could be so much more chaos, so much more anger, so much more brother against brother. In America, when these things begin to happen, for example, in the supermarket, people are
yeah.
they're pushing each other to get to what they want, to put
Mm,
it in their cart before someone else can, and they're threatening each other. And it's this absolute incivility. But here in Italy, I went to the supermarket yesterday
yeah.
and there was a brief line, but everyone kept a social distance. Everyone said buongiorno. And
Yeah.
so it's a beautiful thing. I can't wait for life to get back to normal, but
Do you think like maybe again, Terry, we can agree to disagree here. We spoke before about how maybe open people are in Florence. I don't want to reference the city in general. From what I'm seeing, just from what like simple things like walking to the supermarket, I'm picking up a different vibe, a positive vibe. Can you hear me?
now I
Yeah,
can.
I'll repeat what I'm saying. So we were speaking before about Florence and how the people are. Maybe I said to you before that they're not as friendly as I had anticipated. And I'm kind of starting to see a different mentality in the way they are. I've been very, very impressed as well with the supermarkets. Everybody maintaining a queue. Um, so yes, I can relate to what you're saying, basically.
And but there's a civility that I've found
Mm,
lacking in other places. So I want to, Camila says, sometimes I dream. Remember dreams, third person singular, I dream, to fall on deaf ears. So Camila, do you mean to say that you dream that what you say falls on deaf ears and then you wake up?
mm.
It's a recurring dream. Interesting. So, do I understand you correctly that you dream that what you say falls on deaf ears? I love that phrase too, that
Hmm.
that people don't hear what you're saying. Does that ever happen to you, Paul?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Sure. What Camila says, sometimes I dream that what I say falls on deaf ears and then I wake up. Does that ever happen to you?
Um, as I said, I have very, very vague memory
Mm.
of my dreams. When I wake up, I'm just that type of sleeper. Just something stresses me out, and then the the actual dream just disappears, and I'm like, why am I stressed? Or you know, intense. So I suppose no, it doesn't happen to me.
So my dreams are more similar to Sylvia's. She says, in a frequently
Mm.
recurring dream, I can't speak or I can't walk. So I don't dream that others don't
Oof.
hear me. Sometimes I dream that I can't speak. It's quite
Mm.
frightening.
I think
Okay.
in mine, if I'm being vivid, like the odd memory, the odd dream that I have, I do have conversation, definitely. I think it goes down to our personality as well.
I think so too. Daniela says sometimes she has recurring dreams about university exams.
Yeah, that's
We've
a
all
good
been
one.
there.
Realistic.
All right. Giacomo, sometimes during my walk to the university, I listen to music and I start daydreaming about my future travels. That's perfectly
Fun.
structured, Giacomo.
Yeah, I did dream actually a lot about traveling. Thank you for reminding me. Like, well, when it's possible. Like, where can I go to next?
Yeah, me
Cool.
too. Monica, hi. When I was young, I always dreamed that I was able to fly. Monica, I
Cool.
never dreamed it when I was young, but now for a month, it's the only dream I have that I remember. All right. And
I, I, no, sorry. Go on, Paula.
Paula says, sometimes I have lucid dreams and I can decide what I have to do during the dream. Paula, that is amazing. I've never
Mm.
had that kind of a lucid dream.
I
That's got,
have. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
No, no. Please finish your sentence. Excuse me.
No, that's got to be so liberating. It's got to be such a feeling of power.
Yeah, absolutely. If actually, it's weird because my brain, like, often people trigger memories. If we're talking about a dream, I used to have this recurring dream when I was very, very young. Actually, it was about when I was about 6 or 7, and I live in a detached house, so it was always the same. Um, it was like a nice sunset, and I was upstairs, and there was this kind of helicopter like coming closer and closer and closer just to kind of take me away from my house. And what I would do is I would get out of the cot because I used to like obviously sleep in a cot when I was younger, and I'd hide underneath the bed, and it was just so weird. And then I'd wake up, and that was like a recurring dream that I used to have like all the time. It's weird that I actually only just remembered it right there,
Wow,
when people are talking about their childhoods. Wow.
that's amazing. See what can come up? All
Mm.
right. Now, so what do you usually dream about? I often dream about work.
Me too.
I I wish I could turn it off when I sleep. I often dream about work.
Yeah,
What do
I'm the
you
same.
you too, Paul?
I think especially doing exam prep because I take those classes like seriously. Sorry, exam preparation. If I'm doing like Cambridge exams, I dream about like if the students are going to be happy with the lesson, or if I did enough preparation, and I get like I sort of dream about like what students might or might not say about the lesson. So
Okay. Um, I dream about cooking sometimes, and I often also dream about being outdoors because
mm,
that's something from America that I really miss. I used to go hiking,
mm.
camping, fishing, or just spend time out in nature. And it's really hard for me to get really out in nature away from everything. So I think that's a part of who I am that's missing here. So I often dream about that as well.
Have you ever dreamed about your own funeral? I have. Like when you die, and it's so weird. It's happened to me where like you die and you just like envision like I guess sounds like an ego thing, but you kind of like see like the reaction of like your family and stuff like that. It's happened to me as well actually.
I have
Dreaming about
never,
your own funeral.
I'm so glad I have never had that dream. Natalie says, sometimes when I walk, I listen to music
Hmm.
and at the same time, I dream that I can sing and dance like a pop star. It is funny.
That's a cute dream.
Excellent, Natalie. Just a little bit of work with the prepositions, but I study Italian, and for me, prepositions are still a nightmare.
Agreed.
A nightmare while I'm awake.
Yeah.
Okay. Christina, I often have the feeling that I saw that dream in the past, so I realize that my dream is repeated again. Do you realize this while you're dreaming, Christina, or after you wake up?
You seem like an expert here, Terry, on on talking about dreams. It's like people are like opening up.
I usually dream about something I watched before sleep. Interesting. Something that is external rather than something internal coming out. That's really interesting. And Monica, I often dream about my work, especially when I change jobs during the first weeks. First weeks are always harder than the other. Excellent. Really great. Thank you for sharing. And with open eyes, I dream of spending the rest of my life far from town. Yes. Someday. Yes. All right. Really great. Thank you so much for sharing. So, what are some things, some common things other people dream about? What are some common dream themes? Paul, do you have some ideas?
I would say death. I know that sounds really negative to say, but as I said, I think sometimes that's why I wake up like and I just maybe automatically forget. But I think maybe falling would be one, and money or something, and death. I would say death.
So, death, interestingly enough, usually when people dream of death in their dreams, it's not a physical death. While it seems to be in the dream, usually what it represents is a part of you that you don't need anymore dying off to make room for a new part that's growing.
I didn't know that.
So maybe if you have this dream of your own death, as you're preparing perhaps to move to a new country or a new city, it could be the closing of that life that you have there and preparing for the new life that you're moving to.
And Terry, if I ask you a question, you were in the Iraq War, right? Do you still have like vivid dreams about that experience? You don't mind me asking. Like, as in, like, if it's too personal, then fine. But like, is there certain things that you remember?
So there's two very distinct parts of this, and for the first 3 full years after I returned from Iraq, I had nightmares. I had very vivid, recurring. I was there again in my mind. When I got past that, what began to happen is explosions or sensations of danger while I was awake would put me back in my mind. I would have a daydream that I couldn't control because I would go back to a specific incident that happened there. So yes, I absolutely have. So,
Okay.
all right. Now, Paula says, I have the same dream as Sylvia.
As.
And Sylvia's dream, sometimes I dream to be outside my body and I can see myself from another point of view. Absolutely perfect structure, Sylvia. Yes.
And good.
What an intense dream. Camila, I think themes like death or platonic love.
Maybe.
We need a verb. We need something here, Camila. Help us.
Yeah, to be elaborate, if you could, please.
Elaborate. Great word. All right. So, Paul, you said death, flying, falling. What are some other, okay, to be outside your body? I see. Platonic love. So, what other things are common in dreams? Work, family, like a dream, someone who is, or running away from something. Excellent, Monica. So the most common dream
Wow.
themes are, Paul, will you tell us?
Yeah, so I'm just going to remove the comment here. Okay, so falling, flying, being naked, exams, yeah, we discussed that above. Snakes, yeah, or scary things, absolutely. Teeth, that's unusual. And chasing definitely. But teeth, that's for me, I don't think so. But maybe you can disagree.
Absolutely. It's a really common theme, especially if losing a tooth or losing teeth in your dreams. That is so common. But Monica, really great. Running away from something is the same as being chased. Now, I can remember one specific dream I had at university when I was the intern for a professor, and I had to proctor an exam. I had to give the class an exam. And in my dream, I not only was naked in front of the class, but I forgot the exam questionnaire in the office. So it was a horrible, horrible dream. Horrible, terrible. So, have you ever had dreams about any of these things? What I want from each of you right now, and you too, Paul, is tell us a theme. Give us one or two words of some of your most common dreams. Like for mine, it would be flying, or it would be cooking. I dream a lot about cooking. Paul, how about you?
Repeating my maths exam.
Exams, okay.
Yeah,
Repeating
or
your math
repeating a subject in secondary school that I don't really have much knowledge about anymore because I'm unfamiliar, like geography.
So, like Paula, sometimes I dream that I still have to do my graduation exam.
Yeah,
I did it many years ago.
I relate to you, Paula.
All right, excellent. So, Sylvia too. All right. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about how we interpret each of these types of dreams. So, this is why I want you all to send us one or two things that is a common theme for you. Yeah, Paula, I wouldn't like that dream either.
None
All
of us
right.
do.
So, for example, falling in a dream means a loss of control or insecurity about your life or a part of your life.
Very personal here, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. But what I'm going to do now, so don't freak out, I'm going to stop sharing this screen in order to share a different screen.
Cool.
Okay? So I want you all to tell me, you can see here, this is the Dream Bible. And so if I go to, for example, F, and I search for flying, what do I get? Flying. To dream of flying represents feelings of a heightened sense of freedom or reaching new heights, freedom from restrictions. It could also negatively may reflect enjoyment of escaping responsibilities and having a good time being wasteful. I don't have difficulty flying, but flying dreams are very common. Oop, not going to read that. People tend to have flying dreams more often in their youth because youth offers more opportunities to play. So, what are some of your dream themes? Paul, can you share something with us?
D.
Okay, let's go to death.
It must be. It must be a theme.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, to dream
Unfortunately.
about that. Go ahead, can you read that or is it too small?
It would be too small, Terry, if you don't mind reading it, please.
Okay. To dream about death represents change. Your personality or life situation is transforming for better or worse. An area of your life has come to an end, an era is over, or roles are shifting. You may also be preoccupied with someone else's death or illness. Alternatively, death in a dream can reflect failure or loss.
That's
All right,
very
so wait.
personal, but very true.
Okay. Running, oh wait, I don't, okay, Monica, dreaming snakes for me means that something bad is coming in my, well, let's look, Monica, and see about snakes. Let's look for
Just to say, Monica,
snakes.
dreaming about or dreaming of, okay? Just your preposition.
Okay, to
dreaming.
dream of a poisonous snake represents feelings about corruption or contamination. Snakes in dreams also tend to reflect a person's fear of failure or serious loss. Feelings about a person or problem totally, permanently ruining you. A dangerous or tricky problem that you want to avoid. So snakes represent something negative coming into your life. Often snakes point to situations that are difficult to resist. They also reflect bad habits, people, or situations that put you in a bad mood. Okay, so snakes. How about spiders while we're here in S? I have an irrational fear
Interesting.
of spiders, Paul.
I don't think it's
If I
irrational. I
dream,
think it's rational.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I dream
I
of
think a lot of
spiders,
people,
if, yes, a lot of people.
no, just a lot of people are terrified of spiders. So I think it's rational, in my opinion.
Okay. To dream of a spider represents feelings of being trapped or hopeless, a negative situation that feels inevitable or impossible to escape. A belief about things that you think are permanent or will never go away. But they also may reflect irrational beliefs, powerful insecurities that stop you from doing what you want in life. Positively, a spider may represent a positive area of your life that is intricate and patient. This would usually be represented by blue or white spiders. Interesting. Simona says, I love interpreting dreams. I often read the dream book when I wake up. Paul, to Simona, I did that for years in America. I was obsessed with understanding dreams. Paula says, someone says that if you dream that a person you know dies, you give him or her a longer life. That would be a beautiful thing. A terrible dream, but a beautiful outcome.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a recurring dream I have is about being chased by some dangerous people. So let's see what. I don't know if chased will be the way to find it. It might be pursued. Chased, okay.
Or followed. Being followed, maybe?
Followed, okay. To dream that you are being chased represents issues or situations that you are avoiding, facing, or confronting. Something you may feel is impossible to overcome or defeat. You may feel stressed or threatened. It may also reflect something you don't want to acknowledge. Alternatively, being chased in a dream may be a sign that you feel pressured or driven by a sense of fear or failure. And it's a way that you are trying to avoid embarrassment at all costs. Very interesting. Okay. Now, I've given you 5 or 6 different interpretations. Do you agree with these? Camila says, in my country, you can play a game called Lotto and choose the number that represents, because number, third person singular, represents your dream to win the lottery. For example, if you dream of a dead person who speaks, you can play with number 71. Interesting. Very interesting. So tell us, do you agree, do you disagree with some of these interpretations that we have given? Okay, and now I'm going to go back to our other screen. So bear with me just a moment. Okay, so we talked about some different things. We talked about flying. Oh, we didn't. Snakes, chasing. Do you agree or disagree with anything that we have talked about? The last thing I want you to do today. Whoops. No, why did I do that? I am so sorry. 1 second.
Okay, 2 seconds.
All right. I apologize. I'm technologically challenged, so I'll get us right back to where we were.
Excuse me.
All right. So, okay. Giacomo, yes, I agree with most of the explanations given by the site. Fabulous. Christina, sorry, but I don't believe in these things, this singular, these things. So I don't interpret my dreams. In my opinion, we usually dream about our fears, problems, experiences during our life. But it is interesting to read. All right, excellent, Christina. Thank you. So, Paul, will you read this slide, or is it too small?
No, I can read it. Describe a dream or nightmare you have had. Use the past continuous to set the scene and past simple to say what happened. I dreamt that. I had a dream that. It was a dark night and there was plenty of fog. I was walking across a bridge at night and I couldn't see the other side. Suddenly, on the bridge, something strange happened.
Okay. So while we don't have time to describe our dreams, we have been describing our dreams. I just wanted to give you, for this last minute, I wanted to give you this little bit of grammar. So we used the past continuous. I was walking across a bridge at night. To set the scene, to give the details surrounding it. But when we talk about the actions, we use the past simple. I couldn't see. Something strange happened. So as you describe your dreams to family, friends, or to us if we meet in this situation again, we will work more on this particular part of grammar. But I just wanted to pass it along to all of you. And for now, thank you all for joining us this evening. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much also for sharing with us. It always makes these lessons a lot more enjoyable when we can share. And with that, I'm going to let Paul close out for us.
Thanks a million, guys. We appreciate all your contributions. Keep listening to the webinars, and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
All right. Ciao, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.